everyone, I am Niharika Tiwari from Sociobits, and today I am the co-founder of Ushva, Mr. Visat Patel. Thank you for joining us today.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
So, could you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. So, I come from a city called Vadodara in Gujarat. I done my schooling till 12th in Vadodara, Gujarat State School, and then came down to IIT Bombay for graduation in mechanical engineering. Worked on a lot of projects, be it on biomedical technology or building electric race cars and taking part in races across UK, Silverstone circuit. And that is where I also met my co-founder, Ushva. And I think we worked together for last 10 years on multiple different projects, be it research, be it product development, and eventually realized that we had common interests in creating technology, solving problems at the grassroots level. And I think one fine day in 2014, we started discussing about the technological problems across the country and what is the problem that we solve would make the biggest impact is something that led us in deciding our technological journey, our journey as a company together, and the value that we wanted to create for the ecosystem.
That's great, actually. So, could you tell us a little about Ushva?
Sure. So, we started off in 2015. We are primarily an IoT company, Internet of Things. And our focus is about optimizing things. So, currently, when we look at the global scenario, there's a lot of energy wastage, a lot of carbon emission, which is increasing drastically, leading to a lot of wrong effects across the globe. So one way is improving technology, the other way is increasing the efficiencies of the systems. Okay, and what we feel is unless and until you don't monitor or measure something, you cannot improve that particular thing. Okay, so that is where IoT comes into picture. And we at Ushva want to simplify technology, and we believe that a technology can be scaled up only if it is simplified and if it is made affordable. And that is where we built our company around IoT technology, both hardware and software, which unlike any other companies out there is use case agnostic. Okay, so for example, this is the hardware that we built. Now, other companies, they love to bring in different hardwares, different software stacks to deliver solutions on energy management, water management, safety. But in our case, whatever the application, whatever the industry, just plug in this hardware, choose the type of industry, type of functionalities that you want, and you're ready to go. So, simplification is what we have worked upon.
So, how does this exactly work? Like, what does this device do?
Okay, so now when we talk about optimization, we have to collect data about the systems. Okay, for example, we're talking about energy meters, okay, where you get collecting data around how energy is being consumed across your facilities. So, take an energy meter or a water meter or any manufacturing machine. We simply retrofit or connect this device with that machine. We collect the data on the device, we process, we store data on the device, and then we send the data to servers, cloud-based servers, wherein we do a lot of data analytics, visualizations to make it understandable for the end users, because most of the users are not tech savvy. So the idea is to showcase data in a form that they can understand and from which they can derive value.
Right. So that's actually a good idea. Okay, so what inspired you to move on to Ushva, to create Ushva?
So we were initially working on a new solar inverter technology. Okay, and accidentally we realized that there's a lot of problem on data collection. Okay, a lot of people have been talking about IoT, machine learning, AI, but then the most initial step is data collection, and data collection itself was a very difficult step for all industry players, be it industrial automation companies or be it system integrators or be it manufacturing companies, be it Reliance, Tata or any larger companies as well. Okay, so the problem was for every different problem statement, a different product had to be developed. And when you work with different products, you have to understand about how to use that product, how to configure that product. So project implementation itself was very intense, and eventually that was turning out to be a roadblock for implementation of IoT data collection and optimization across industries. Our first step and first goal was to make data collection seamless, and I think I'm very happy to say that you successfully done that. You bring across any industry, any equipment, be it your car, be it your machine, be it your meters, be it your body itself, the same hardware as well as our cloud-based software can be used in a plug-and-play manner. So now you don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be a technologist to understand and deploy solutions. We just simplified it. Plug it, choose, you go, good to go.
Okay. So then you mentioned how the wastage and global warming and everything. So does this help?
Of course. So now the world is strictly trying to adhere to ESG standards. Okay, to look at the impact on environment due to the processes across industries. Now our product gets installed across the manufacturing plants where we monitor energy, we monitor machines, and we help them in identifying that where is the problem in your energy systems? Where are you losing energy? How can you improvise to reduce your energy consumption? And so there is a twofold benefit. One is, of course, they're saving a lot on the energy bill costs. Second, of course, the impact on the environment is the biggest gain over here.
Yeah.
But of course, for our technology to be deployed, it has to be affordable and there has to be a capital benefit on it. Only then people are comfortable accepting it. So I think our idea is to make it simple, make it affordable, make it easy to deploy, and I think we're looking at a good impact on the environmental front as well.
So do you have any competitors, other people present like Ushva?
So I look at competitors across the globe. Okay, so for example, there are companies such as Samsara, Teltonica, which are global companies. But I would say those are our competitors only in certain specific use cases. For example, someone is a competitor in Factory 4.0 or Industry 4.0. Someone is a competitor in vehicle tracking application. But when we talk about use case agnosticity, we are the only player out there who are implementing an IoT technology stack both on the hardware and the software front, which is use case agnostic. And till date, we are active in 22 different use cases ranging from energy management, water management, safety for railways, factory automation, Factory 4.0, smart cities. And the idea is to implement this product across more and newer use cases so that for the next set of people, which are the industry experts and industry implementation companies, for them it has to be a simple thing. Pick the device, plug it, you're good to go.
I think that's great. You also mentioned that you started in 2015, right? So how has your journey been so far?
So initial 4.5 years, we spent a lot of time in terms of identifying the problem, creating prototypes, a lot of research and development. Then again, a lot of iterations based on the feedback that we got from the initial pilot installations. And in the last 1.5 years, we have been commercially active. And I think we have created a good presence across the industry, and not just in India, we're also active in 6 other countries outside India. So now, I think one of the motives for both myself and my co-founder Ashutosh was to change the ideology across India. So far, we're predominantly a country wherein technology is not developed, it is just being consumed. We want to change that. Now, we are creating technology in India which is accepted globally. So, for example, our parents, and I'm sure all of our parents, they've been telling us that the German technology or the Taiwanese technology is excellent. I think today I'm happy to tell my father that Germans are using our technology now. So that's the change that we wanted to bring, and I think we're fairly moved ahead into that direction as well.
So this is almost revolutionizing the technology in India, right?
Of course.
So in the span of 2000 since 2015, can you point out any major challenge that you face?
See now, India is looking at a lot of startups coming up, and mostly in the service sector. When we look at deep tech companies, there are few, and one of the major reasons being the lack of proper ecosystem. Okay, so when we talk about deep technology, you will require a lot of different types of companies to assist you in getting the product out there in the market. Be it on the manufacturing front, be it on the front of getting your components rightly sourced. Okay, so initially setting that ecosystem up was a hurdle, which I think we fairly figured out now. And secondly, when we talk about deep tech companies, you are not going to look at revenues from day one. Okay, forget about loss-making revenue. There's zero revenue practically, and that is what our initial 4.5 years meant. Okay, so gathering capital and gathering trust of various stakeholders into the idea that we are working on was difficult, but then I think we had a fairly good support from friends, families, a lot of IIT Bombay alumni. That being an alma mater helps a lot in terms of getting meetings, getting support. But I think now we're fairly on a good track. We know what to do. We have a product market fit rightly done, and it's just time to scale up and implement things on the global front.
So, speaking of scaling up, do you have any immediate goals planned for this year, or like what is the roadmap for your future?
Okay, so see, looking at the next 12 months, I think what we are looking at in terms of growth is a 10x growth. And that growth is on multiple fronts or multiple parameters. The first being increasing the number of end users of our product, and our end users are industries. So currently we're looking at 700 plus industries using both hardware and software. We're looking at increasing that number to 10,000 plus in the next 12 months. Secondly, we want to increase our presence across India and outside India as well. So as I said, we're present in 6 different countries other than India. We want to increase that presence both in the countries that we're already active in, and of course enter into new geographies. And lastly, increase our partner ecosystem so that our go-to market becomes quicker and more optimized. Now that's for the next 12 months. But if you talk to me for in terms of what is the vision for the company, in terms of where do we look at it? So our vision is Ushva should be a synonym for IoT. If people want to look at IoT, they should be talking about Ushva. So that is what we're looking at, and on a global front, not just India. And we're fairly on that track. We have a unique offering. We're well respected across the globe. A lot of companies are switching from European product to our product.
Okay.
So that's a switchover that we're looking at because of the product that we built. And I think we'll be doing good. I'm quite confident about that.
Sure. And Ushva is like very, it's a different name, right? How did you come up with that name?
So it's a combination of 2 Indian words, Urja and Swasth. So energy and health. And I think both me and my co-founder Ashutosh, we have an interest in energy for sure, and health is also a sector of interest, and environment also gets related to health.
Okay.
So Urja and Swasth gets into Ushva.
That's interesting. So this will be my last question.
Sure.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
I think it's on 2 fronts. One, we would love to see newer companies coming up into deep tech space. Okay, so let us increase the number of companies like us in India and change the industry wherein technology being sourced from outside should rather be switched on to technology being sourced from India. Okay, so that's a change that we're looking at. And secondly, I think the startup ecosystem is more about working together. So we're not looking at competing with companies as per se, we're rather looking at partnering with companies. And our idea is to help traditional companies as well as other industrial automation companies, wherein we will be the technology backbone and they will be the ones deploying the technology out there in the market. So leverage the existing industry, help them out, and I think we're looking at good business out there.
That's great. So thank you so much for joining me. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine.